Hey, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Time with SOLA FIDE. Today, I want to spend some time talking about precisely that, time. I think time is something we don't really consider too much in our day-to-day lives. But when we analyze our days from a broader perspective, we can often realize how short time really is. As I grow older and dedicate myself to different projects, time seems to slip away from me really quickly. Often, we can even find ourselves reminiscing on our younger years because times were simpler, right? However, the harsh truth is that once time passes by, we can never really regain it. It can be disheartening for some of us to reconcile with that, but God calls us to be aware of this so that we can make the best use of what time we do have. So I want to read Ephesians in Ephesians 5, verses 15 through 17. It says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is." In verses 15 and 16, we can see that using time wisely is really a matter of wisdom. We must use wisdom when determining what the best use of our time is because the days are evil. How we use our time should be important to us because our days are numbered. We need to be honest with ourselves and really consider if what we do with our time is really the best use of it. More so, in order to really accomplish this, we need to look to the Lord for guidance, doing everything in our power to understand His will. So the Bible tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So we have to make sure that whatever we dedicate ourselves to, it must be done with the fear of the Lord in our hearts. The KJV version of verse 16 uses the phrase redeeming time, which is really helpful when thinking about this practically. We need to know that time is always getting away from us. So by making the best use of our time, we are redeeming it. Instead of letting time get away from us, we're retaking possession of it in a sense. So Ephesians also tells us that fools, in contrast, are not careful with how they spend their time, putting very little thought into this, if at all. When we make our lives all about us, it is so easy and it's so common to dedicate our free time based on our feelings, on what we feel. Yet anything that we can think of to satisfy our own desires will not benefit our eternal state, which is far more important than our finite time here on this earth. There's so many ways for us to lose track of time. Money mismanagement or just the need to have more can keep us working long hours. Social media hyper targets us in order to keep our attention on our screens, flooding us with viral videos and marketing. And streaming apps, entertainment, they're all competing for our attention. And at the end of the day, we could find ourselves not really doing anything meaningful. This cycle repeats every day of the week. And instead of us searching to understand and do the will of God, we give our time to distractions. I'll be honest, as I was reading and meditating on these verses, I felt a sense of conviction myself. Because it's so easy for us to get distracted with mindless things. But if we want to live a life of wisdom, we must make the best use of our time. So Psalms 1 also has something to say about this. And I want to read verses 1 through 2. It says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. And on his law he meditates day and night." Meditating on God's word day and night is crucial in our spiritual lives. This is a way of putting forth our faith into practice. We fill our minds with the word, making the will of God known to us, which in turn guides our footsteps. The law doesn't save us because we're only saved by the gift of grace. But by studying and understanding God's word, we are transformed. So I leave you with this. Ensure to make time for the Lord in your daily life. Put away any distractions when they keep you from using your time wisely. We're not perfect, but we serve a perfect God who transforms us if we seek Him diligently. So seek Him above all else. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.